Good morning and welcome to the I'm Bruce. I'll be narrating and filming for you today. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And if this is your first time here, welcome aboard. We've got a lot of great stuff in store for you today. Halloween's one of the favorite times around here, so we're going to be doing a lot of pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns, things like that, getting ready for Halloween. And we want to do it now, even though it's not till the end of the month, simply because we'd like you to have the opportunity to get one of these for your very own. So we'll give you a little rundown on what we're going to do today, and so here we go. We fortunately have a few people that have ordered pieces, and we make them right here online so you can see them. And really glad to know that folks are taking part in that. So if you would like to have a piece, whether it's a jack-o'-lantern or something else from our catalog, just let us know and we'll be glad to make it online. Good morning, Matthew. Hi, Diana. And Bridget, welcome back. Brittany, so excited for the Halloween items? So are we. Alrighty, so, and Amy Weber-Aquino is here. Good morning. We got good news for you in a minute here, Amy. So, running down our list of what to do, we're going to have a witch's hat with a vine on it, which is for Pamela. We're going to have a jack-o'-lantern with a hat for Dale, a glow-in-the-dark ghost for Yvette, and then we're also going to make a jack-o'-lantern mug and a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. So we'll get into the differences of what these various things are as we go along. But since Amy Weber-Aquino has checked in already, I'm just going to go ahead right here and say, congratulations, Amy. You're the winner of the pair of blue stemless wine glasses. That was from last week. Good morning, Rachel. Hi, Lynn. Yvette, you're so excited, so are we. Alrighty, so if you comment, which a lot of you are doing right now, your name will be entered in a drawing for next week's giveaway, which we'll announce on our broadcast. And for next week, we're going to give away this beautiful white pumpkin with the gold iridescent, well, it's not an iridescent, it's a reduction, but it's a beautiful gold stem. So that's what we're going to have for next week. Again, congratulations to Amy for getting the blue stemless wine glasses, and we really enjoy that part of it. Well, you're very welcome, Amy, and we're glad you entered and won. So while we're on it, we would like you to like us, and we'd love the comments. The comments are really great feedback as we go through the morning, and we'd really like to hear from you. But one thing I would like to mention before we go too far into this, and I promise not to dwell on it today, we'd really like you to share. Share what you see, because when you share these videos, or even the invitations when they're announced, then that goes out to your friends. And what we're able to do then, if you help us out, is expand the circle of people that see what we're doing. We've got about 2,500 followers on Facebook. And if we get 10% of you watching, that's really great. But if we've got 250 of you watching over the next few weeks or whatever, but you then share these events, they'll go out to several hundred or thousands of your friends. And that's going to help us in a couple ways. Somebody might buy a piece of glass, but on top of that, the Facebook algorithm takes all those shares and says, wow, they got something really cool going on at the Art of Fire, and the word gets spread. So anyway, there we go with that, and I'll try to hold that stuff to a minimum. So let's see what we've got here today. I'm not going to tease you with this good stuff anymore. Here we go. So here we have a jack-o'-lantern, a couple sizes. We've got a ghost that's a glow-in-the-dark, and we've got a jack-o'-lantern mug in the back that is a glow-in-the-dark. So we've got those available. We'll talk about prices and what to order in just a minute. These two on the front, these two white ones here, are also the jack-o'-lanterns, and this is what the glow-in-the-dark appears as when it's not glowing. So it looks kind of white, and the black part is not a glow-in-the-dark. And then when we have our display in a black light so you can see it right now, but if you expose it to normal light in your home, then when the lights go out, the ghosts or the jack-o'-lanterns turn green. We've also gone to making some of our flasks with faces on them. So we've got the jack-o'-lantern flasks, And we've also got then back here, this guy is a jack-o'-lantern with a hat. Here's a straight up jack-o'-lantern and a small one. We've got mugs that we're putting the jack-o'-lantern face on too, instead of just the standard pumpkin mug. And our ghost mugs. I still want to put a Coke can on that and call him a polar bear, but I'll get over it. Here's a jack-o'-lantern with a hat only, but a really special feature. And that is the little spider hanging from the side. I'll try to get around that so you get a good view. In fact, what I'm going to do is pick up the hat and bring it up here so you can get a good look at our spider. And I'd like to give a shout out to our good friend and flame worker Jay Santmeyer, who made those for us. We've still got our pumpkin goblets, long stem goblets, and a series of jack-o'-lanterns. We can even make them for you with a pair of eyes up on the hat and just kind of a smiley face on the bottom. So that's all our new stuff. Also going to show you things that are still available for order. Of course, we've got our pumpkin mugs, we've got our white mugs with the gold handle, and we've got our standard pumpkins in many sizes. The big one there is a Mongo. Oh, it's about a foot in diameter. Then we've got the extra large, and then we've got the large, the medium, and the smalls across the front. And we typically do those in orange or white, but we can actually do them in any color that you want that we've got. We're particularly enamored with Sally here. And so let's just talk real quick about what the pricing's like. These, as far as the pumpkins go, that's the same as you might have seen before if you joined us. The Mongo, the large, the medium, and the small. Basically, to create it into a jack-o'-lantern with a face is going to add $20 to that. A jack-o'-lantern with a hat is $125, and those are a little bit bigger than our medium-sized pumpkin. It's like halfway between a medium and a large. You can just get the hat if you like. That's $65, and then if you want a spider on the hat, you add $25. And I hope we're not disappointing anybody with this, but we cannot sell the spiders only. We'll only sell those when they're on with something else. The glow-in-the-dark feature adds another $4 to the price. And we've got the pumpkin goblets I showed you up there at $165 a pair. And the mugs, they're either the ghost mug or the pumpkin mug. They go at $65. So that's pretty much what we have there. And then we'll get right into the glass blowing, because that's what you're here for. Anyway, we're going to have a witch's hat that has a vine, like a wrap on it, and that's for Pamela. So let's head on back to the studio. And what's up, Josh?
I was going to add something to the board, but come on over.
Okay. We're very flexible here. We can add stuff to the board anytime we want. So good morning, Josh. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you folks doing today?
Alrighty, so we're going to be starting off with a hat with a vine.
We're going to start out with a hat with a vine, and this is for, is this Pamela?
Yes.
This is for Pamela today.
So Josh is back picking up a little bit of black color out of the annealer. This is solid chunk glass. You can see it as he comes by, and he's just wiping off a little bit of dust that was on it in there. And he's going to take that piece of black glass and melt it down so it's malleable and he can work with it. Lauren Connor, we love the ghost mugs too. Michael Herman says, morning, Art of Fire. But we have to say good evening, Michael Herman.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Michael comes every week and wins the furthest viewer point.
What's for dinner, Michael?
So just for grins and giggles, I tried to see where the point on the Earth that's opposite the Art of Fire is. And unfortunately, it's about 1,200 kilometers off the coast of Australia in the middle of the water. But we'd love to know where the rest of you are from. Tell us what's going on in your life. Tell us why you're here or how you've met us, whether it was through the Renaissance Fair, out to the studio, or perhaps some former students. There we've got the molten black glass, or melted black glass. Josh is going to just roll it on the metal marver, the table that he has there. And this is just to cool the outside and give it some shape. If he went in there with it all wonky looking and then tried to put some air in or gather, it wouldn't be so nice. So most of the time when we take a gather of glass, we just blow a little air into the blowpipe, cover it with our finger, and the compressed air goes gently out into the glass. Gentle's the whole key to it. Get a little bit too aggressive and you can really have an issue there. So, like us, comment, let us know what you do, how you encountered us, what you'd like to see, and by all means, if you'd like to order a piece, you can let Theta know, either online through the artoffire.com website, an email, or if you're really computer literate, you can jump on Facebook Messenger while you watch us. That's something I haven't been able to accomplish yet, and place an order. Bridget said, "Sir Bruce, when is your turn to make a piece for us to watch?" Oh, we'll keep you in suspense on that. Okay, so Josh has put a little coating of clear glass over the color, and you can see it start to inflate now. And again, he does that by pressurizing the air in the pipe and then just blowing it out. So he'll do this for a moment or two and get this thing squared away. David Hogan, I don't know where else you would be on a Tuesday morning, but you're glad it's with us.
Absolutely.
And we're glad to have you with us. All right.
Keep asking, Bruce. So I'm gonna have to show them.
Oh, well, they've seen.
No, we didn't get to show them last week.
Yeah,
So this
There
is,
you go, Bruce.
This is Bruce.
This is Bruce,
Okay.
All right. We embarrassed him enough.
the MC.
Alrighty, so now we're going to get another gather of glass on this here, and Josh seems to have twisted the camera on me, but I'll bring it back around. Okie doke. All right, Jennifer is watching from Damascus, Maryland. Welcome aboard, Jennifer. And Renee in Gaithersburg. Great. Alrighty. So now, Christy, hi to you too. Hey, I like this. They're saying hi to me. Oh my goodness, making my day. All righty. If I can't be with my grandkids, at least I'm here with the guys from the Art of Fire. All righty. So Josh is going to warm that back up. That's the final gather, isn't it, Josh?
Yep, that's it. It's all glass.
Okay, so he's going to start shaping this out and form the hat. Firefly Jane says, "Hello, Bruce." Well, hello, Firefly Jane. Good to hear from everybody. This is pretty cool.
Where's Firefly Jane from?
Where are you, Firefly Jane? I hope you're not in that spot 1,200 kilometers off the Australian coast. So now Josh has pushed out. You can see how that black color is pushed out a little further into the bubble. So you can see the little bit of heat differential there. And now he's going to start shaping up the length and the style of the witch's hat. Firefly Jane is from Waldorf, Maryland. Firefly Jane, I was in St. Charles for many years. Okay, David Hogan is in Forestville. Alrighty, and another PG County boy.
There you go.
That's me all over.
Yeah.
Okay, so once we get the glass gathered up to the size we want, then what we need to do is get a sphere with a jack line in it, which he's already done, and now you can see that he's in the process of elongating that sphere. He cut a constriction close to the pipe because Pamela sure isn't going to want that pipe attached to her witch's hat. And now you can see kind of the profile of the hat taking shape. So he's going to emphasize that jack line again so that it'll come off there very easily. And then if he wants any more inflation or anything, he'll get about that. But he's just about there. I'm going to try and get a little better shot in the glory hole. It's really bright with the backlight of it, but you can see that he's just heating up the tip of it. And what he's going to do is open the end of that with a pair of tweezers so that it will then provide a spot to lift it up and form the brim of the witch's hat. So once he gets that in, you'll notice he also reheats it just a little bit. That's so it doesn't break. Now take a look at what you see here. We don't have thermometers to use on the glass, but that difference in the glow tells us what's hot and what's not. And by spreading it apart with his tweezers, maybe Foster will grab the propane torch and hit the center, leaving the handheld one. So by applying some heat right into that spot and warming it up a lot, it gives Josh just that little extra bit of heat so that he can get in and open it up, and in just a moment he'll go heat it up, flare it out. Brittany and Chantilly, but first saw the work at the Ren Fair a few years ago. Great to have you with us. So please, folks, like what you see, give us some of those thumbs up and hearts and stuff like that. We go nuts when we get to see that. Also comment. We're really interested in some interaction with you. If this isn't fun, then what's the point? We'd also like you to share. I'm not going to go into the detail I did in the opening, but when you share the videos with your friends, it gives us extra exposure. And it also calls our attention to Facebook, or at least the computers that run their algorithms, that this is a really cool thing to watch. And they promote it. So here you go. You see the length of the shape of the witch's hat coming in, and he's just going to fold that back and bend it to practically perpendicular all the way up there, and here we're going with a witch's hat.
Can I do that wrap, Foster?
So now we've got the witch's hat form, except for the top of it. We've got the bottom of it well open, but it's still stuck to the pipe. That's the reason we make the constriction in the pipe. And Foster right now is preparing some glass to serve as a punty or a pontal. And what he'll do with that...
We're going to do the wrap.
You're going to do the wrap next? Okay. My bad, but we didn't discuss this in advance. Okay, so what's this, a little bit of the aventurine green?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, aventurine green. That's going to make really pretty for the wrap. Is this going down by the brim, Josh?
Yep, it's going to be wrapped around and then...
Oh, like in a spiral?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then we'll have a nice coil at the rim.
Okay, so we'll have a nice spiral going on here. Foster's heating up the green glass, and what he'll do is get that all prepared. Josh will take care of placing it. So Foster's getting a little bit of contour to it, a little texture with that mold. He'll bring it to Josh. Josh will grab it with the diamond shears because the pipe is well over 1200 degrees. And they'll tag it up, start to twist around, and you can see that beautiful spiral forming, and you can see the lines, and then you're just going to cut it off, and it comes right down, and he just brings it around a little bit with a little curl, wraps it around that thing just like you would on a pumpkin. Yvette, welcome from Germantown. Okay, Foster takes the pipe out that he's turning around, and we'll have a good shot of this in just a moment. So we've got a nice little pigtail-like curly-cue going on there. After Josh takes this out, he might adjust the shape of that stem just a little bit if he needs it. And you can see how he's using the tweezers there to accomplish that. Beautiful, beautiful. And that color will blend in with the black right now, but show up much more after it's annealed.
Here, Bruce.
Okay, so. All right, hello, Stephanie Wheeler. All right. Foster's preparing kind of a disc back here, and what this is going to do is form something to be able to stick in to the bottom of the witch's hat. So this is kind of a different looking punty. Usually it's a very small piece of glass that goes on the bottom of a vessel, but since the opening on that hat is really pretty wide, then we're going to go in with that. So Josh will check it over, see that it's what he wants. Foster gives it a flash heat and away they'll go. While we have a momentary pause here, let me remind you of the Countryside Tour this weekend. That's running Friday through Sunday, the 9th, 10th, and 11th. And we would welcome you here. We're going to be practicing social distancing. We have sanitizers available, and we'll be asking everyone to wear a mask. We'll have plenty of spacing. There goes the disc into the bottom of the hat. And once it's placed and sealed up just like he wants, Josh will apply a little bit of water to the joint where the pipe is attached, and a tap breaks it free. Beautiful job, guys. Yes, David Hogan, I do believe it's awesome. Carol Ann, no problem in being late. Amanda Ries is planning to come see us this weekend. And she had a birthday last weekend during the, well, she had a birthday all day, but we were talking about it during the presentation. Josh's birthday was yesterday, so he escaped it by one day. But why don't you all wish Josh happy birthday?
I just turned 21.
Oh yeah, for the 18th time.
That's right.
Alrighty, so what will happen now is Josh will heat primarily the tip of the hat. You can see it extending in there. He'll flash it every once in a while. A flash heat is simply just a quick introduction to heat to the entire body. And then after he gets the top hot, the very tip of the hat, he'll be pulling it out and shaping it. Bridget says happy birthday, Josh.
Thank you.
Annalise says you guys are amazing, so I gotta believe that extends to me and Foster too. Alrighty, okay, so now you can see how hot the top of that is by that bright orange glow. Josh will grab it with his diamond shears and gently start pulling. Notice the movements are quite measured. Brian Holcombe says happy birthday.
Oh.
Everybody's saying happy birthday. I'm almost sorry I mentioned it. It's gonna go to his head, isn't it, Foster?
I think so.
No, I don't think so. There we go with a little bit of a curl to it, a little bit of shaping, and we've got a beautiful witch's hat going here. Still be a couple more steps of some reheat and just a little bit, then it'll go in the annealer. So there you have it. If you'd like to have one just like that, let us know. You can order these pieces either through Facebook Messenger. Theta is watching that right now. You can send us an email. You can call us up. And again, please don't call Foster's phone because that's the one we're using for the filming. So here we go with maybe the final touch-up or the next to last. He's just getting a really good shape on it, and then we'll put it away. You notice Foster's gloving up because this glass is still very, very hot, and then we'll break the piece off of the punny, and Foster will put it away in the annealer. Somebody asked about annealing last week, and whoever it was, a woman had written in. She said she stopped by the studio and got a really good explanation from Foster about what the annealing is. So we'll cover a little bit more of that today, talk about it, since we've already got the science part out of the way about what's the place that's opposite to the Art of Fire on the globe. There goes Foster with the finished hat, and into the annealer it goes. All right, let's see some thumbs up and some hearts and some happy faces. Josh Reese, thank you. Foster, way to go, guys. And we'll still have to mention the guy over there in the corner in the like a mushroom where nobody says anything to him. We'll come over and say hi to Todd Hansen. Hello, Todd.
Hi, Todd. Hi, everybody.
Okay, so Todd's busy at work now. Josh is getting his shoe back on. He had a piece of glass in his shoe.
That hat, I had a piece of glass in my shoe.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's go on back down here to the table and the whiteboard and see what's going on. And we'll give Josh an opportunity to put whatever it was he wanted back onto the table. Okay, so we've had the witch's hat with a vine live and made for Pamela. Once again, if any of you folks are interested in having a piece made while you watch, just get in touch with us and we'll work it out and we can make whatever you want during our broadcast. The next thing up is going to be a jack-o'-lantern with a hat. That's going to be for Dale. And so we've got, oh wow, we're up to 45 people. We're getting a lot more viewers here. Let me tell you why it's really important for you guys to comment. Not only because we want the interaction with you, but Amy Weber Aquino last week won, or this week she won this pair of beautiful blue stemless wine glasses. And you get entered in a drawing just for commenting. And our prize for next week, which will be drawn at random, is this beautiful white pumpkin with the gold stem on it. So be sure to comment and like. We love to see that. By all means, share. That helps us move up the Facebook food chain, if you will. We've got glow-in-the-dark pieces this week, and we've also got them on display here in a black box with black light. You don't have to do this at home unless you want to see it all the time. If you just expose these to light, then when you turn out the lights at the end of the day, they'll be a glowing green. This is what the glow-in-the-dark material looks like when it's not glowing. Looks kind of white. So we've got these jack-o'-lantern faces that we're putting on pumpkins and mugs. We've also got the ghosts that we've had before. And here's a sampling of what we got. There's a special jack-o'-lantern right there with a different smile on him. And we've got one over here that's really kind of cool. We enjoyed making this the other day. It's got a pair of eyes on it and just a series of dots for the mouth. We've also got the full-face jack-o'-lantern, kind of scary guy. And if you choose, you can get a spider attached to your hat, or if your hat's on a jack-o'-lantern, you can add it to that. So there's a jack-o'-lantern. Well, that's not a jack-o'-lantern, that's a pumpkin with a hat with a spider on it. And we've got our standbys like the ghost mug. We've got a jack-o'-lantern mug. We've even started putting faces on the flasks. So, yes, and there's Sally there, Amanda. And that is really cool, isn't it? So you can get yourself one of those. And so let's see, here's our standard fare here for pumpkins, typically in orange or white, but personally I like to make them out of kind of really shocking colors like a neon purple with a bright green stem. But you can order whatever you want. So we have the Mongo, which is about 1 foot in diameter. That's that orange one. We've got the larges on either side of it, a medium right there to the front of the large, and these are our smaller pumpkins in white. White typically has the gold stem, and the pumpkin colors have the green stem. And we've got the mugs for each. So I'll give you a quick look at the prices here. If you want to add glow-in-the-dark to anything, it's $4. The flasks are $55. And here's your prices on the pumpkins. The Mongo, large, medium, and small. To make them a jack-o'-lantern, which is basically adding a face, you're pretty much just adding $20 across the board. A jack-o'-lantern with a hat, which is what that one is right there, is $125. A hat alone is $65. Add a spider to a hat. My gosh, this sounds like a carry-out restaurant. Add a spider to a hat, it's $25, but unfortunately, we can't sell the spiders alone. And again, a shout out to Jay Santmeyer for making these for us. We really love them. He did them at the Flame Working Torch. We've got our ghost mugs and our pumpkin mugs and also the pumpkin goblets listed there. So let's take a trip back and see how we're going to go with a jack-o'-lantern with a hat. And this is for Dale. Okay, so here we go. Josh is ready to go. Whoa, Josh is throwing steel. Oh. It'd be a lot better if you threw shade, you know? So, but did you see the lightning quick reactions? Not a problem.
Always on stream, right?
Always on the live stream. Okay, anyway. So Josh has, he got that out of the way. He's taking a deep breath. Everything's cool. Party foul. That's from Bridget. Okay, so Josh has got that heating up, and what we're going to have is the hat first, right?
Yeah, we're going to do the hat.
So we're going to do a hat. So that's not going to look a whole heck of a lot different than the hat you just saw. It's not going to have a wrap. So rather than describe in detail, every bloomin' thing about the making of the hat, I'll give you a quick rundown of something about annealing, okay? So, we put the glass into these annealers. I'm gonna walk back over here for just a second. This is what one looks like. It's basically just a big box of bricks, and it's got flame inside. And that flame keeps it up to 900 degrees. So we'll get the camera over here to watch Josh, and you can follow along. And if you saw the previous hat he made, you'll know exactly what's coming next. I'll interrupt my narration about the annealer just enough to point things out. Firefly Zane says you have lightning quick reflexes.
That's pretty good.
Oh yes, it was. And you'll notice when he dropped it flat on the marver so he didn't bend it. Okay. So anyway, the deal with the annealing is it relieves the stresses in the glass. I like to call it Paxil for glass, because the glass construction, the way that the atoms arrange themselves, is really kind of helter-skelter. If you take a regular crystalline structure, like rock crystal or even salt, the molecules and everything organize in a real nice, handy-dandy, smooth pattern. Glass doesn't do that. Glass is what's technically known as amorphous solid. So we're not going to go into that. But basically, it organizes like a bad trip. So what we're going to do here now is Josh is going to gather up, and it really is. It's kind of helter-skelter, okay? For glass, not the movie. Anyway, Josh is...
From experience, Bruce?
What's that?
Is that from experience?
No, that's not from experience. Okay. So anyway, the reason for putting this glass in the annealer is to gently lower the temperatures, and then in that way you manage to relieve the stresses in the glass. All those odd junctures at the molecular level are going to cause the glass to tear itself apart if it cools too quickly. And if we were to take any of these pieces and put them out on the floor, they'd be ripped up and in shreds, little shards of glass, inside of 30 minutes or so. So by putting them in the annealer at 900 degrees, we gradually, at the end of the day, lower the temperature. All glasses have what's called an annealing point, when there's a temperature range that you got to be really careful with, or they'll tear themselves apart. Now when we put this stuff away, it's probably 1400 degrees. It can come down to 900 really easy. That's not too tough on the glass. What's really bad on the glass is the range between about 850 and 700 degrees. So Foster, in his infinite wisdom, has figured out how many bricks to put in that box, and they give off heat, just like your patio might at the end of a summer day. And it cools at a very relaxed rate, and then the glass is annealed. But I've always wanted to ask Foster this one question. See, you have to have just the right number of bricks. And so, in my mind's eye, I see Foster as a young hippie glass blower making a box of bricks and then going in the next day to see if it was enough to keep all the glass from cracking. And if all his glass was broken, it'd be like, ooh, I need another brick. Kind of like that line from Jaws, you know, we're going to need a bigger boat. So is that how it happened, Foster, or did somebody tell you how many bricks to put in?
No, it was very much trial and error and putting in what we refer to as thermal mass, because the annealing oven absorbs heat into the bricks during the day. At the end of the day, when all of the work has been put in, that oven is turned off and it has to cool down in an acceptable cooling schedule in order to be stress relieved.
Okay, so there we are again with peeling the middle open. Foster's going to provide a little extra heat. So now after 20 years, I finally confirmed that it was hit or miss. Did you ever wind up with an annealer full of broken glass and know that you needed to add more bricks?
No, but we've wound up with, on an odd occasion, at the end of the day, because we were tired, we've left the annealing oven up. And we come back in the morning to just a flat puddle of glass because it's become so hot that the glass just melts into a pan.
I think Michael Herman might weigh in on this story. Yeah, look at that. All three of us at the same time. Not to pick on Michael. Michael is an amazing glass blower. Check out his online presence. He's in the Netherlands now, working at a museum. Beautiful glass. He's been all over the world and the country, but many, many years ago, in a galaxy far away, he was here one day and we had an annealer full of ornaments, wasn't it?
It was ornaments.
Yeah, it was ornaments. And they didn't quite make it because they all melted together.
Yeah, it was a neat sculpture.
Yeah, it was, because they didn't lose shape completely. Michael's not answering us yet. Okay. So let's break the frivolity for a moment. You saw this before with the garage. Josh is going to drive in. Well, Foster's going to grab a glove and move that brick so that we can drive right in. So we've got plenty of heat in that glass, not to worry. Foster's going to move the brick so Josh can put that up in there. And then he's probably going to have to put the back in place under the pipe so that Josh can lay it down. There we go. So now he'll keep an eye on that because let's see if we can get, there's the hat in the garage. And because it's hot, it'll have to be turned once in a while to make sure that it doesn't slump all over. Okay, so we got the hat in there and now it's time to get a pumpkin made and give him a jack-o'-lantern face. You're having a pretty good time here today, huh? Yeah.
This is excellent. Michael, are you there, Michael?
So, here we go getting ready for the pumpkin. It'll be 2 gathers, Josh?
Yep, 2 gathers.
Okay. 2 gathers of clear glass and then through our color combination to give him that beautiful orange shape. And rather than using pure orange, we use a combination of a yellow and red. And together they give us an orange, but they also give a little bit of variety to the color pattern, as opposed to looking just like a piece of pure orange glass. Here comes the bubble under pressure, and when he gets it where he wants, he just removes his finger. Okay. So, taking a look at the piece in the garage, and then Josh will be getting his second gather in just a moment. So we were going through the whole annealer thing. I promise not to bore you with too much science stuff, but the idea of gradually reducing the temperature between about 900 and 700, between 850 and 700 degrees keeps the glass from tearing itself apart. And as Foster has confirmed, over the years he calculated just the number of bricks so that that temperature loss was at no more than a few degrees, a couple degrees a minute. There's actually formulas you can follow to see how quickly the temperature goes down. And if any of you are potters and used to using cones to measure the heat within a kiln, it's a very similar process. Okay, so now he's got one coat of yellow on there, and you'll notice he's peeling that off, okay? So he had a little more glass than he really needed. He just scissored it off the end. Okay, so he'll take a second coat of the yellow as the base, and then it'll be a roll through the red in order to what will eventually be a beautiful orange pumpkin. And then after he puts it into the optic mold, he'll get striations in it, which will give us even more color variety. Well, I'm glad some of you think the science part is interesting. We try to keep it entertaining, but also let you know what's going on, because the more you understand about what we're doing, the more you can appreciate it. And speaking of appreciation, if you would share what you see, please. Share these videos, share the notifications about them, you've probably got more friends than we do. That doesn't sound right, but we're really not antisocial. But you have a bigger circle of friends, all of you combined, than we do, and the more people that are aware of this and watch it, the further up the Facebook hierarchy we go, and the better it gets for everybody. If you'd like to order a piece, please contact Theta. You can do it right now today, either on Facebook Messenger, on the website, artoffire.com. You can shoot her an email. If you'd like to order a piece to be made right before your very eyes, here we go into the optic mold. And Josh will show us what the ridges look like right after he comes out. And there we go. There's the ridges in the pumpkin. He's got them blown in there really deep. And that's so that as he expands this bubble, they don't disappear. The roll on the marver there is to make sure the glass goes off the pipe, and in just a moment he'll roll the tip of the pumpkin. That's to cool it. You know, when we put the glass into the glory hole, you can see it's all hot. In fact, here's a peek inside a cold glory hole. So there it is, and there's the burner in the back, which is shooting out flame. We use propane, and it's powered by propane with oxygen flow, and that is on whenever we're working a piece. So he's cutting the jack line or neckline to separate the piece from the pipe. Again, Dale would not appreciate very much a pumpkin with a hat. Actually, if he left that pipe on, there'd be no place for the hat. That would be a challenge, to put the hat on top of the pipe. But I'm sure Josh is up to it. He caught that runaway pipe a moment ago. I think the man can do anything. Okay, Brittany's a biomedical scientist and always enjoys learning new science facts. Okay, but we'll do that with one caveat, Brittany. Glassblowers sometimes make stuff up. I'm kidding. We're not making all that up about the annealing and whatnot. But we like to have an explanation of why we do what we do. Okay, so he's getting that thin down now. He'll break it free there. And in just a moment, he'll take a brief reheat and flatten the bottom. Because Dale is not going to want this jack-o'-lantern with a hat to go rolling off the table. So in order to heat just the bottom, he keeps most of the glass out of the heat for a while. He'll come back and he'll either paddle it or use the back of his jacks to flatten it some. Valley Shepherd, welcome aboard. Okay, so we're putting on what's called a cheater here. And that is just a little bit of glass to serve as insurance, okay? So by doing that, we make sure that the punty, which comes next, attaches to that and not the glass of the pumpkin. So when we break it off, there's less chance of it actually breaking. Oh my goodness, Bridget is now a nuclear medicine technologist. Wow. We get really nervous when we are teaching classes and we have honest-to-gosh scientists taking a class from us. Because about the time we explain something about scientifically why the glass is behaving the way it is, they're very polite, but they usually point out that we're dead wrong. So Foster's making up the putty now, and we'll attach that to the bit on the bottom, which we call a cheater. Some people call it an insurance policy. At any rate, this is going to stick to that right there, and in a moment, when it's all settled down, Josh is going to drop water onto the neckline. Nope, no water. He's just going to chill it with the tweezers, and off it comes. All right, we're partway there. Yes, Matthew, we would agree. Nuclear medicine is the bomb. Okay, and Joe Marshall from Little River, South Carolina. All right, sending the love. We really appreciate that. By the way, we would love it if you like what you see. Give us some of those, people are putting up the smiley faces and stuff, hearts and flowers, the whole 9 yards. Comment. Remember, if you comment, that's how you get entered in the drawing for a free piece that will be chosen, and you'll be shown that next week. This week's winner was Amy Weber-Aquino, who won the pair of beautiful stemless blue wine glasses. Actually, they're blue stemless wine glasses because I doubt that she's going to be drinking blue wine from it. Although in Charlottesville, there's a really great winery. I think it's in Charlottesville, Blue Dog. Anyway, I digress. But I'm always happy to find out a bit of new wine. So, Josh has got the top of it heated right now. He's going to use a piece called the Sophietta or puffer. He's going to expand it a little bit on top, and then after another heat, he's probably going to go back and punch it in just a little bit. I take that back. I imagine he'll go ahead and put the indentation in the top after they put the face on. So here we go with the jack-o'-lantern part. Foster's heating up a little bit of black glass on the end of a punty iron. We give it a name because we got to call it something so we know what we're talking about. Foster's going to bring that over, point it downward. Josh, in the meantime, is going to put it onto the pumpkin, draw it up, and clip it off. And that little disc, which he flattens and will shape in a moment, is going to become one of the eyes. So those of you that we're going with both eyes first and then the shaping?
Both eyes. The top's good for the hat.
Okay. So he gives it a little bit of contour with his tweezers, and if he chooses to in a little bit, you'll have the real treat of watching him put on his super cool shades to use the torch and manipulate it. Blue Nun, yes, that's a good one too. Blue Dog was the winery. Firefly Jane, wish we could be there in person. We wish you could too. And while we're on that topic, you could be here in person this weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is the Countryside Artisan Tour. We're taking all kinds of precautions as far as COVID. We will have spacing. We're actually going to put up a couple of tents outside the barn for the display of goods. Here we come with the next eye, and Josh gets it on there, lifts and snips, and now he's got the two eyes on there. He'll flatten them. Are you going to manipulate the eyes or go ahead with the rest of the additions?
Just a little angle on the eyes.
Okay, a little bit of angle on the eyes. Okay, so anyway, back to the Countryside Artisans Tour. That's this weekend. We've got plenty of sanitizers. We're going to make sure that everybody wears a mask, and we'll have a couple of tents outside to display pieces so people wouldn't have to get crowded together, and it'll be a good time. And I'll be doing some demonstrating during the course of Saturday and Sunday, so if you come in, we'll be there. Going to have plexiglass shields up between you and me, and we got the whole thing covered. So we hope to see you this weekend. What are the times for the weekend? Is it 10 to 4, 10 to 5?
5.
10 to 5. 10 to 5 for the weekend, Amy. Thank you. So now Josh has got on his super cool shades. Next week he's going to do Joe Biden on Saturday Night Live. Jim Carrey wasn't quite cool enough, but look at this guy. All right, so now a little bit of heat on what we call a stringer. A stringer is just a really thin piece of glass that's been pulled out from a larger chunk. And you'll notice how Josh is heating above the place that it's applied to the pumpkin. That's so it flows as he moves along. If he just heated the spot where it was touching the pumpkin, the glass would be real stiff and break apart. He burns that off, and Foster goes ahead and takes it on back to the glory hole for a reheat. Now you're going to do your cross stitching?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so now Josh is going to put it on his seamstress hat, and he's going to do a little bit of cross stitching. Actually, what it'll be is taking the stringer, drawing the vertical lines onto the mouth. Okay, Patrick's looking forward to the weekend's artisan tour. We are too. Joy, yeah, Jim Carrey did an awesome job, but I'd put my money on Josh. Okay, so now a few vertical lines across the mouth.
Gonna flip it?
So Josh is having him flip it so it hangs down some till he's ready. When he's ready, Foster flips it up, face up, And there we go with the lines going across. And now you can get a really good view of how he heats the area just above where it's touching up, and that lets it lay down nice and straight. Oh, that's beautiful. And then the tip. Now he'll keep an eye on all of this and make sure that he sends Foster back for a reheat if he thinks it's getting too cold. I don't know if you can tell from this angle, but you can see that the pumpkin fell toward the floor a little bit. And that's a good thing, because that indicates there's some heating in it. Yes, David, we could put on a happy face. We don't happen to be doing that right now because this is a jack-o'-lantern. We want this scary stuff. But we could do a happy face. So Foster's just driving enough heat into that so everything stays above 1,000 degrees and doesn't crack. So once again, he'll probably point the face down, and you'll see it fall a little bit, and then he'll flip it up when Josh asks for it. And now you can actually see the face. I'm going to come over to the side. You can see that the face is falling a little bit, ever so slowly, toward the floor. The whole pumpkin is, if you look at it in relation to the pipe. So when they started out, the head of the pumpkin was perpendicular to the pipe. Foster pointed it downward. It fell toward the floor. And now we'll see if it falls anymore. Not too much now. There's not as much heat. A couple of dots for the nose. There we go. Alrighty. So now it's just a matter of making sure everything's where you want. I'm going to steal his Jim Carrey glasses. I want to look too cool too, you know. Alright. So now it's time just to get things prepped to bring the hat. So, Foster, you need me to take that out of the garage, Foster? The brick? Okay. It is Jack the Pumpkin King. Yep, you're right, Firefly. So, and we also have Sally over there, but we'll go back and show you that a little later. Let me come over here. Got it? He's got it. He's coming to the glory hole, using Todd's glory hole. He's going to heat the whole thing so it doesn't crack. Then he's going to get the rim hot. And then he's coming out now to go to Josh's glory hole for a moment. Unless it's plenty hot enough, Josh will look and see if he's got it. Okay, there we go. Nice and easy on the coordination. Okay, one last flash from Foster, and we'll get over here for the attachment. Here we come. Now this is all hot, so it wants to move. So he flips it because it fell a little. And now, there's the attachment. He's going to chill that point. And Foster keeps turning with him. And then he's going to grip that joint with the shears. Whoa, whoa, not yet. And there we go. Away we go. Hot dog, we got us a jack-o'-lantern with a hat. Okay. Okay, now Josh is going to do the same thing with the top of the hat. We'll pull it out, thin it some, curl it up, and away we go. I agree, Firefly Jane. Wow, wow, wow. They've got this down to a science. So now we've got the piece formed, and we're going to go ahead and get the top of the hat done, and then we'll be taking it off into the annealer. Please comment, that's for you. Well, we love the comments too, but if you comment, you get entered in the free drawing, okay? And if you'll share the video, we move up the food chain on Facebook, so we would really appreciate you doing that. And you can order pieces either through Facebook Messenger if you want to get on that. You can use the website, artoffire.com, and place an order there. And not only can you order the pieces you see being made, you can order anything from our catalog there, and we do special orders also. That off, and now we have that nice hat like a speed cone right on the top of it. A little bit more heat and some gentle manipulation, and we'll be done with it. So anyway, back to the ordering process. You can even call us, just don't call Foster's phone. We're filming with that, okay? And your comments will get you entered in the giveaway. Like to mention again that this coming weekend, we're going to be participating in the Countryside Artisans Tour along with many other artists, and that will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 to 5, and you can come by and see us. We'll have glass being made, we'll have glass on display, we will be socially distanced. We're even going to have a couple of tents outside to display pieces so that nobody has to get too close. We'll have some glass blowing demonstration going on during the day. All right, so he's getting the final touches on this jack-o'-lantern with a hat, and then Foster will again put it in the annealer. Hey, Keith Daly, hello. Say hello to Keith.
Hey, Keith.
Yeah, even Theta, yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna hang a spider on this one.
We're gonna hang a spider on this one, okay. Where is this festival taking place? Okay, we do have the information on our website and our Facebook page, but the festival is taking place across Montgomery County. Our portion is at the Art of Fire here, just outside of Damascus, Maryland. Mailing address is probably Laytonsville or Gaithersburg. We're on Hawkins Creamery Road. And if you go to our website, you can get directions, and the information will also be there. The Countryside Artisans Tours has a website also, .com, Countryside Artisans, and they will have a list of all the other artists participating. And I last looked at the flyer that went out on it, and I think there may be something like 8 to 10 people participating, but we'll double check that. Okay, so that's going to get a spider on it too. Dale Kohler says, thank you, Theta. Let's say thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
And thank you, Foster. Yes, indeed, guys. Amazing piece.
Cool, that's gonna be great with the spider.
Oh, yeah, the spider's really going to add a lot to it. Okay, let's take a little break from here, go on up, review what we've done, what's coming, and what we got for you. Okay. So we've done the witch's hat with a vine twisted around it. That was for Pamela. And by the way, if any of you would like to see a piece made, it doesn't have to be a jack-o'-lantern or a pumpkin or a mug. Pick anything in our catalog, artoffire.com. We'll be glad to make anything during the demonstration periods. And if you can't watch or watch a replay, we can arrange to do a video for you so you can see your piece being made. We just finished the jack-o'-lantern with a hat and a spider now. That'll be added on later. We couldn't add the spider while hot because it would melt the little spider. I don't know if he goes up a water spout or not, but that's a nursery rhyme for another day. Next is going to become a glow-in-the-dark ghost for Yvette, and then we'll be doing a jack-o'-lantern mug and a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. I mentioned earlier that your comments will get you in the drawing for a free piece. And Amy Weber Aquino won this beautiful pair of blue stemless wine glasses here. And yes, she can put blue wine in it if she likes. She did that, she got that by making comments last week, and in a random drawing selected her. For next week, we're going to have this beautiful little white pumpkin with a gold stem. So be sure to comment, that gets you in the drawing. Alrighty, and so here we have glow-in-the-dark pieces, and the next thing you're going to see made is a glow-in-the-dark ghost, which is just like that rascal right back there. And I'm going to move back a little bit. The light's doing funny things. The jack-o'-lantern mug that's right next to it gives you a much better idea of what the glow-in-the-dark will look like. It's kind of a greenish hue, and that's the glow-in-the-dark part. And so we're going to do the ghost next. We have many other pieces that we can do with glow-in-the-dark. This is what the glow-in-the-dark material looks like when it's not either under a black light or in a dark space after being exposed to light for some time. So there we have that. And let's just review the pieces while we're here. Here we have a jack-o'-lantern, and this one, I kind of like this one. We were talking about these the other day. I like it when it has the face with just that short stubby stem on it. We have a jack-o'-lantern back here, a slightly different design with the face, just a couple of eyes and some dots for the mouth, but a jack-o'-lantern with hat. And somebody mentioned earlier, Jack the Skeleton. Well, we've got his cohort Sally right here. And we've got her both available with the curly Q's top or just the straight up stem. We could do it in glow in the dark too if you want, but it'd lose something because we can't do the blue glow in the dark. Got another design element here for this jack-o'-lantern with hat. We put the eyes up on the hat and the dotted mouth. So you can see that if you want to order one of these, we kind of have to talk to you or get you to be very specific. They look a lot different. There's two more jack-o'-lanterns, one with a hat, one with a stem. And here we have a hat only with a beautiful little spider. These were done for us by Jay Santmeyer. Thank you, Jay. We appreciate it. And we can put a spider on the hat, which is what we're going to do with Dale's after it gets fully annealed. And we've got our standby polar bear mugs. I'm sorry, ghost mug. I'm kidding. They are ghost mugs. Here's a jack-o'-lantern mug. And then the stuff we showed you, I guess it's two weeks ago we were doing these. These are the regular pumpkin stock. Our pumpkins typically are in the orange or white, but we can do most any color combination you want. There's the Mongo. The largest one is about 12 inches in diameter. Step down a little bit for a white large or a pumpkin that's large. And then we've got the medium size that steps it down a little more. And then the smaller guys right up here. So let's get the prices. Oh, almost forgot the flasks. So we started putting faces on flasks too. So here's a jack-o'-lantern flask, and here's that face on a glow in the dark. So this thing is subject to the light for the entire video today. If we were to put it in a dark room afterwards, it would glow green. If you want to add glow in the dark to any of the things you've asked for, you're going to be limited to the one color, okay? And it's $4 extra. It'll appear white when not glowing and have a greenish hint when it is glowing. Flasks are $55. Here's your prices of the standard pumpkins. I showed you over on the Marver with the various sizes. Pretty much adding the face for the jack-o'-lanterns adds another $20 to each. And we could do a jack-o'-lantern with a hat. We're only offering that in one size. It's a little smaller than a large, but much bigger than a medium. And we can sell you a hat alone. The spider on the hat's an extra $25, and I'm sorry, but we won't be selling spiders individually. We have pumpkin goblets over there and mugs that are in the shape of pumpkins for our pumpkin decoration and the ghost. And I should go ahead and show you the pumpkin goblets again, since I really didn't emphasize that. And there they are. And they can be done with a short stem too if you like. Just talk to us and let us know what you want. So if you'd like to see this stuff up close and personal, come visit us at the Countryside Artisan Tour this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 to 5. We'll be here. Hope you are too. All right, so let's go back and see if we can find Josh getting started on his glow-in-the-dark ghost. So Josh is picking up a chunk of white right now. This is the base coat for the ghost. There it is right on there. And then, what'll it be? One gather and then through the glow in the dark?
Yep, one gather through the glow in the dark.
Okay. So he's going to shape this up, melt it down, and get a little bit of air in it. And then he's going to put the glow in the dark material on top of that. All it is glass that has a few other chemicals added to it that do that. It's completely compatible with the glass we use, and so he'll be able to gather right over it. We'll go over and show you that stuff in just a minute. So it'll have a base coat of white, so if the grains of the glow-in-the-dark material start to separate a little bit, you lose that opaque look. Okie doke. So we'll get him shaping up the white. I'll go on over here and show you what the glow in the dark. It doesn't look any different than other frit we use, but boy does it act different. All right, so there we go, changing the shape of the glass, controlling it, cooling the outside, gets it nicely under control, and then just the tiniest amount of air goes into it, unless he decides not to. I'm kidding. Okay, so there he goes with a little air in the pipe. You're not even going to see that grow. So he's putting the glow-in-the-dark material down front so he can get to it.
And what's interesting, when I go through the glow-in-the-dark, maybe Bruce can get a shot of it, but you can actually see the glow-in-the-dark glow for a second. It's kind of interesting, like it's almost transferring.
Oh, okay. Very good. All right, well, we'll get a shot.
Learn all sorts of interesting new things.
Yeah, let's see if we can get it to show.
Oh yeah, I see it. See it right there on the edges?
Yeah, it might not show on the camera, but
yeah, it's a little bright on the camera, but it does do a little bit of glowing. Yep. Okay, so now he gets that all coated. He'll heat that in, shape it up, get a little air in it, and then another gather on top of that.
Yep,
Another gather on top of that so he can make a full-size glow-in-the-dark ghost. So sometimes we want to put a couple of coats of the covering on it, like if we're using frit. Oh, Bridget said she could see a little bit of glow. It is tough to see in there, and really when we're using a camera like this, it's tough. Hey Josh, Mary Hawbecker says happy belated birthday. Okay, all righty.
Yeah, Josh glows because he's so hot.
Ah, okay.
You do too, Bruce. On Mondays.
Okay, so we'll get all that glow-in-the-dark material on there and then begin some inflation and get it going. So please be sure to comment. That's good for you too. In addition to us enjoying it, it enters you in a drawing for a free piece, which for next week is going to be a beautiful little white pumpkin with a gold stem. Last week's winner is Amy Weber-Aquino, who got a blue pair of stemless wine glasses. Alrighty, so you can see the material has cooled down a little bit because it's darker. That was the intention. Now let's watch it. And it begins to grow. And that area where you see the swell begin, that's at the end of his blowpipe. When we're working with opaque colors, it's kind of hard to see where the end of the pipe is. But that's always a great clue for the glass blower, because obviously the glass can't expand until the air exits the pipe. One of the hardest things to overcome, which happens to us every once in a while, is if you put your jack line over the pipe. That is really bad. I mean, you can get around it, and we have ways to work with it, but we like to tell beginners in our classes that you're not Clark Kent. You can't compress steel. You can only squeeze the glass. So that's why we want to find where the glass is inflating, where the air has exited the pipe. He's stripped off the glass a little bit. If you're just joining us and haven't been here before, the glass is so fluid, it'll peel right off like that. And if you are joining us, I'm Bruce Ferguson. I'm doing your narration and trying to keep things light. We've got Josh Ries making a glow-in-the-dark ghost. Foster Holcombe, owner of the studio here, holding the fort down, and we've got Todd over there in the corner in the dark like a mushroom. People talk to him once in a while. Actually, Todd is working very hard right now. Todd did a whole bunch of the work a week or two ago with all those platters and vases, so we're spreading the joy. Okay.
Yeah, so check out the video, what was that, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I believe so.
Todd made some beautiful platters, just amazing.
Okay. Yep, we've got a whole series now. We're what, up to 7 now?
This is number 7.
This is number 7. So they're all the previous ones are posted on Facebook. They're on the website. They're also on YouTube, I believe, all of them. So you can go a lot of places to see us carrying on. All right, Josh has got a little more air into it, and he's going to get the diameter increased. Then he's going to give it a quick touch with the jacks, the metal blades there, and that's the point of separation from the blowpipe. So one of the things glassblower has to figure is, once he gets this sphere with a jack line in it, what's the final diameter of the piece? So we have to make the diameter of that ball a little bit bigger than what the final diameter is going to be, because we're going to use gravity to elongate it, and that's going to necessarily decrease the diameter. So there's a whole lot to watch while you're doing this. It's not just fun and games, but we try to make it that way. So now, using that propeller blade spin of his, Josh elongates that bubble. It's no longer a sphere. It's now more of a cylinder. He keeps an eye on it. See his head looking like he's at a tennis match? Well, he's just taking his eyes back and forth to wherever the glass is. He gets the diameter he wants. He's going to cut that jack line a little tighter so it comes off. And now he's using the edge of the jacks like a straight edge to actually straighten the body. And that's going to be the top of the ghost. So Foster's preparing a punty, and he'll shape that up, bring it over, and we'll transfer the ghost from the blowing iron to the punty iron. So you can see at the very tip there, the rounded part, there's your final diameter of your ghost. You don't see the glow-in-the-dark feature yet, but believe me, it's in there. Josh carefully places the punty down on the tip of the ghost there. That's also the point where the hook is going to be to hang it. So, a little drop of water, tap it, the vibration breaks it free, and now Foster goes ahead and heats it up a little bit. You'll notice this doesn't, Michael Herman, yeah. Michael, were you there while we told the story about the melted ornaments? We were talking about annealer temperature. So anyway, you'll notice that this ghost doesn't look too much different than the witch's hat did, except for being tapered toward the end of the punty. It's full width. But Josh is going to do the same type of thing on that opening at the end of the pipe, and he's going to expand that till he gets a full cylinder, then flip it up for the edge. Melted ornaments, that's right, we had them one time. Annealer got accidentally left on with what, about 30 ornaments in there? And they all got melted together, they stuck together, they didn't completely lose shape. It looked like somebody's set of instant biscuits gone awry.
It was the Christmas sculpture.
There you go. Okay, so now see how narrow the end of that is. Josh is opening it up, and now we've got the cylinder shape. And then bringing it up just like he did the witch's hat, the ghost skirt, if you will. And he's going to take another reheat and then come back and put a little bit of ruffle look to it, as if the sheet has been dropped. And he's going to do that with his Farvet glass. Guys, good greetings from Holland. Thank you. Okay, so Josh is heating the ridge of that now. He's going to grab his tweezers and put a little design element in the ghost's skirt. And that's as far as we're going to go with that. Okay, so there we go. Yes, Mary, we agree that it's really nice that Michael does show up, and we appreciate it. Michael says melted ornaments. How could I forget that? That was a lifetime ago in an amazing glass blowing career. So, but glass blowers are relentless. We can't miss an opportunity to give somebody a hard time. So Josh right now is lighting the ignition portion with this oxypropane torch. You'll notice he's got his super cool Jim Carrey / Joe Biden aviator. Well, they're not aviator shades, but they do protect his eyes from the sodium flare from this. And what he's going to do now is heat the glass on the outside And then he's going to take that metal stick he's got in his hand, and he's going to use that to poke the arm for the ghost. Or it's the paw, if we can still call it a polar bear. Okay. Now you'll see him push up on that with that metal bar, and up comes the first arm. And then after he withdraws that, Foster goes to take a flash. The flashing is a really important part of this. If we get the glass, let the glass get too cold, it'll just shatter while we're working on it. And that happens sometimes. By the way, we'll also remind you, if you're ordering one of the mugs or a pumpkin goblet or anything, these are not made for hot liquids, and all of our glass, if cleaned, should be hand washed in warm water. Don't put it in a dishwasher. So he's flashing, heating it on one side, but he's going to have Foster flip it. There we go. And this keeps it from falling too far off center. And then for the final push, Foster will bring it pretty much upright, and you'll see Josh poke the other arm. Oh, Patrick says Josh is cool with or without the shade.
Thanks.
Way to go. Patrick scored major points there. Okay, Foster goes off to take care of flashing. And now we've got that done, and it's back to the work with the little bits of glass. The stringer.
Wants us to finally make those teardrop ornaments for him that he's been asking for years.
Ah, okay. Well, we'll get around to that. So these stringers that Josh is using were pulled from a much larger piece of glass and brought down to a very thin diameter so that he can control them very easily, and they do heat up really quickly when hit with that oxypropane torch. So now he's not dragging it like he did that stitched lip earlier. He's making little mini circles. He'll swirl it around and then lift up, and it burns right off. There was the nose, the mouth. I call it a nose most of the time. And there goes a couple little dots for the eyes. And this baby will glow in the dark. How long does it take to make one ghost? I don't know, but we could hit replay and time it. I'm kidding. They know exactly how long. What does it take? What do you allow on a ghost? 20? 15 to 20 minutes, somewhere in there. Rachel says a shout out to Todd. See him in the background. He's got his headphones on right now because he's seriously hard at work. Josh is heating those little discs he put down just to flatten them a little bit, give this ghost a little shape, and make sure that they don't. Teardrop ornaments would be fantastic, Mr. Foley says. Okie doke. So the next thing in the process is going to be to put a hook on it. He's not going to put a ring on it, he's going to put a hook on it. Okay, so I can't help myself. All right, a couple of flashes. He'll tap that off over at the marver on that little white piece of insulated material, and then he'll make a hook so it will hang. So he's heating the punty juncture, just makes it a little easier to see that it comes off, and he'll take another flash and probably put a drop of water on it. Yvette wants a polar bear. All right, I love it. Okay, so he's going to get a little bit of water out of a bucket over there, tap the pipe, held vertical, the ghost comes off on the pad. He's perfectly safe while Josh goes, gathers up more glass, and makes the hook. We'll come around the other side because he's going to be walking right through there to get back to the annealer. So, we gather a glass on the top. He draws it up and then pulls slowly up, snips it, and then with his tweezers he'll form a hook. It actually is a ring, isn't it? Josh put a ring on it. Okay. And then he takes the hooking tool, makes sure it's round, and then off he goes to the annealer with the glow-in-the-dark ghost. There we go. Awesome. All righty. Let's have some hearts and flowers, some hand claps. Josh Ries, everybody. Way to go, Josh. And Foster, Yes, indeedy. And Todd's over here hard at work in the world of cats. Todd's hard at work. Yes, he is. Are you playing Memories on your headset? That's a bad joke. Okie doke. Let's come on over here and see where we are in the process. So we got us a witch's hat made with a vine for Pamela. Dale got a jack-o'-lantern with hat. And Yvette just got the ghost that is glow in the dark. And it's going to look just like that one in there when you either put it in black light or if you subjected it to regular light and then go into a dark room. All right, next up we're going to have a jack-o'-lantern mug, then we'll have a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. And I've mentioned several times about the comment section is what will get you in line for our free drawings. And this is a pair of blue stemless wine glasses that Amy Weber-Aquino won last week by commenting. And if you'd like to be in the running for this beautiful little white pumpkin with a gold stem, keep commenting because you could be next. All right, so a little bit of review of what we've got here, and we'll talk also about the piece you'll see. Here's our glow-in-the-dark collection in a black box with an ultraviolet light. We've got a jack-o'-lantern there. We've got a jack-o'-lantern mug. We've got a small one. We've got the ghost in there. And so these here show you what the glow-in-the-dark material looks like. This is the same thing as what you just saw made with the ghost. It's a coating of white inside, then the glow-in-the-dark material gathered several times, and it gives it a nice opaque look, and it just looks like a white jack-o'-lantern until you actually get it to glow. We've also done this with flasks. So here's a glow-in-the-dark jack-o'-lantern flask. Here's one in the standard pumpkin orangey colors. And so here we have a jack-o'-lantern with a short stem. We've got one back here with a hat, slightly different facial design, just dots for the mouth and a couple dots for the eyes. And if you're familiar with where the Jack the Skeleton comes from, here's his running mate, Sally. We've got those. This is one of my favorites back here. We've got the eyes up on a hat and the dots for the mouth. And then we've got more samples of the jack-o'-lanterns, either without the hat or with the hat. We can also put a spider on it. And there's an example of the spider on the hat. And here's one of a pumpkin with a hat, and it's got the little spider on it. And we'd really like to thank Jay Santmeyer, who made these for us. And we'll talk about pricing on that in a minute. This is what's up next. This is the jack-o'-lantern mug, okay? So it's your basic pumpkin mug, but with the jack-o'-lantern face. We also do our ghost mugs. It really is hard for me not to call it a polar bear. We can do a pair of stemmed goblets for you. We can do them with a short stem or the long one. Here's the pieces you saw probably 3 weeks ago or so. Our mugs in the pumpkin color and white, and our array of pumpkins, typically in either an orange hue or white. We will do anything you want to order. We've got the Mongo, the big boy, in there at 12 inches in diameter, and we've got the large, then the medium, and then the small in all of those. So if you'd like something that you see, or you see it in our catalog, place an order. So here's our prices. We'll hit that real quick. The glow-in-the-dark feature on any piece adds $4. The flasks are $55. There's a list of our pumpkins and their prices. And then right below them is the price it would be to make them into a jack-o'-lantern, which is basically just adding a face. The jack-o'-lantern with a hat is a little bit smaller than a large, but it's bigger than a medium, and it gets a hat, and that's $125. There's the price for a hat alone. Put a spider on a hat, that's $25, and I'm sorry to say, we can't sell the spiders individually. Pumpkin goblets are $165 a pair, and then we have mugs as pumpkins and ghosts. So that's pretty much what we've got going there. And before we go any further, I'd like to remind you of the Countryside Artisans Tour this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 to 5. We'll be open. We'll have a couple of tents outside with work out there, in addition to the studio space, and we'll be having social distancing. Everyone will be wearing masks, plenty of sanitizer on hand. So if you want to see this stuff live, come on out. Many of the pieces you see here, if they haven't sold and taken a trip bye-bye, they'll be on display also. So now we're headed for a jack-o'-lantern mug. Let's go on back here and join the guys. And it's been probably more than 30 minutes, so I should probably do the introduction thing again. I'm Bruce Ferguson. I'm doing the narration and have the camera. And we've got Josh Ries here, and he's doing our work right here today. He's what's called the gaffer, which means basically the guy that's making the stuff, but he is more than ably assisted today by Foster Holcombe, studio owner extraordinaire. Say hello, Foster. Yeah,
There you go. Thank you every week for coming to visit with us. We're getting more and more people each week, which is what this is all about. We hope that you're all enjoying it, getting the close-ups that you wouldn't normally otherwise, and getting to meet all of us here at the Art of Fire, watching us make great work for you. And that's what it's all about. We hope that you stay safe. And again, thank you for being with us. We'll go back to Josh.
Okie doke. So Josh has gathered up his first gather, and he's going to start a little bit of an air bubble in it. So he just blows. That increases the air pressure inside. He traps the air. The pressurized air is not going to blow his bony finger off the pipe. It's not going to rupture the stainless steel. It goes out into the hot glass. Now he's got an air bubble established inside. He'll cool things off a bit, and then he'll go take another gather and start picking up the color. So there we go. So it's important to let that cool down a little bit before gathering, because what will happen if you go in too hot, it just causes all that bubble to collapse, and you wind up losing the work you've already done. So Josh brings... So there he goes, stripping it. The viscosity of the glass is such at that point that it just drips right off. Now he comes back and he starts with his coats of yellow. He's going to get a couple of coats of yellow on it, and then he's going to get red. What do you need?
I had to check to make sure what I was making.
To make sure what you were making. Yeah. We could easily make the wrong thing. We wouldn't tell you it was something else. But when you order something, we will be totally on it, and we will know exactly what we're making. I'm kidding. We do know what we're doing. But sometimes, actually, if he knew he's making a pumpkin mug, he'd be doing the same thing anyway. So just the notation that there's a jack-o'-lantern with it is only going to change the order of operations in a very minor way. So he's got two coats of yellow on there. He's going to pick up the red. Those colors combined give us that beautiful orange hue. And then he'll go about making the cylinder that will become the mug. Is there water in the bucket that the molten glass drips in? Absolutely. That stuff would heat up a galvanized bucket so fast and be exhausting flames that are not flames, fumes, that we really don't want to be breathing. Every once in a while, we'll get a hot bit of glass touching the edge of a dry bucket, and we weren't aware that it went in there, and it pretty much stinks. And we'll get the glass out of there before anything happens. Interestingly enough, I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel like viscosity works in reverse. The lower the viscosity, the more fluid it is, the more it runs. So the glass that Josh dripped off actually had a lower viscous nature than what it is right now, or as it cools off. Into the optic mold, a quick blow, the outward pressure of the air creates the ridges. Do you think they make Ruffles potato chips the same way?
I would think so.
There you go. Okay. Oh, come on, crack a smile. All right, so now he's going to cool the tip. We've told you many times before, we cool the tip so that the bottom doesn't blow out. When we put the glass in the glory hole, the whole doggone thing gets hot. So if we want to localize the heat, we cool part of it. Notice how he does that propeller spin while he's walking. If he'd have been born 20 years earlier, he'd have been disco dancing like me. Yeah. Were you born in time to Vogue, or was that before you too?
No.
Ah, okay. Josh is going to vogue for us. All right. So now you see the shape of the mug taking place.
Well, thanks, Bruce.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to think about is you disco dancing in and out.
Oh,
That's
don't
burned into my mind.
don't worry. Did you just say the glory hole? I did indeed. And we're not going to comment on that. But it's been the point of reference for the reheating oven that glass blowers use a lot longer than it has been anywhere else. All right, Josh is flattening the bottom of the mug. Foster's prepared to putty, and we're going to do the transfer now. And you'll be putting the face on before the handle, right?
Right.
Okie doke. So there's our order of operations. No, I didn't do any roller disco. No, no. We definitely had the disco ball, though, in the place we used to go in Crystal City. Alrighty, here we go. Oh, they think this is really funny. One of these days I'm gonna bust a move on them. Okay, here we go with the transfer. And Foster will heat that up or get it started for him. Josh will heat it. Bruce is old enough to be doing the Charleston? Whoa, whoa, that's cold.
That's old.
Yeah, well,
Old and gold.
I hate to admit it, when I was about 6 years old, I asked my mother what she did during the Civil War, and that went over like a lead balloon. But anyway, kids can be forgiven. All right, so Josh is heating up the opening of the vessel. He's going to get the shape of the mug just like he wants, and then we're going to get started into putting a face on it, the jack-o'-lantern. All righty. Roller Disco Derby Bruce, yeah, or Disco Duck. Yeah, I like that too. I got rid of my white suit and my bell bottoms a long time ago.
That's too bad.
I even wore a Nehru jacket when I was playing in a rock and roll band for a while. Okay, here we go. Opening the vessel. You can see that there's just a tiny opening from where he had it constricted around the blowpipe. He's got a blade of the jacks in there, and now he's going to begin to open it up more. Foster's purpose there is to make sure that the lip stays parallel to the foot. That worked out beautifully. And if Josh wants, he may reheat it and manipulate the top just a little bit again. Well, we really try to get a nice barrel shape on this thing. So once he does this, then he'll be putting on those cool aviators again. His cool glasses. Cool Hand Josh. Do you know that movie? He doesn't know Cool Hand Luke. Oh my goodness. We're going to have to rent that for him. Okay, so now he's getting the barrel-shaped body of this mug done, and then what he'll do is put the face on it. So,
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Brain fart.
That's right.
have I
I can
distracted
go back
you?
and look at the board and see what I'm doing.
Okay, so what we're going to get now for the jack-o'-lantern is a couple eyes, just like we did previously on the other piece. Foster's going to pick up some black on the end of a punty iron. David Hogan asks if we can feel the love. Yeah, David Hogan has leisure suit with a question mark. Oh my gosh, has that much time passed that people don't even know what it is? Oh, crazy. All right, so now Foster gets that disc of black hot. I'm going to walk behind you, Foster. We'll get another view of dropping this eye on here.
Ready?
Yep.
He points it down. Josh picks his spot. Now he'll draw up to thin the glass out, and he cuts real low so that it doesn't have a bulging eyeball. Okay, so he's got that on there. He'll shape it. He'll take a reheat, and we'll go through the same thing again.
You're not going to pull me eyes, are you?
Rachel Whitaker asked Kennedy who, Bruce? And I'll have to tell the story because we were sitting around one day talking about where we were the day Kennedy got shot. And I said that I was in junior high school gym class, and I asked Rachel where she was when Kennedy was shot. And apparently she was not even a gleam in her parents' eye at that point. So
That went over really well.
that went over really well too. I have a knack for that sort of thing. But these guys have got a real knack for the glass blowing. Josh is flashing the mug. Foster's heating the black. We're going to make it back to the bench over here. David Hogan suggests roll out the barrel. Yes, I know that one, Dave. Do you know roll out the barrel, Josh? Oh, come on. A Pennsylvania boy doesn't know roll out the barrel? Holy smoke. Okay, here we go with the other eye. A quick draw up to thin it and cut close. And he's got a nice gather of glass there for the other eye. He'll be able to do a little bit of shaping, and then it'll take a reheat. The edge of the tweezers, pinch it just a little bit, and now it's got a real nice profile on the face. They look expectantly at each other like, what's next? Josh puts on the cool glasses again, and he's got his stringer ready. He has to wear that glove because that stuff gets hot and his hands are going to be very close to the hot glass of the mug. Now, while it's not glowing orange from the heat, it's still very hot. Yes, Joshua Penn, a polka.
Polka?
Roll out the barrel. You don't know polka music?
I have
Oh,
heard
come
of it.
on,
I've heard
come
of it.
on. There's got to have been an accordion in your past. Okay, here we go with like, now watch how he heats above the point that's touching the glass, and it just flows right on down as he goes across to draw the mouth.
Somebody asked for a smiley face, so I thought, why not? Let's do a little bit of a smile.
Okay, so he's going to have a smiley face on this one. Okay. Instead of Jack's stitching,
With the stitching.
oh, he'll have the
A little bit
stitching,
of
a little more smiley. Okay. Dale Kohler says he really is young, doesn't know any of your songs. Unfortunately, I do. Welcome to the club. Oh, Joshua would bid on Foster playing the accordion. I don't know if we can make that happen or not. So here we go with the cross stitching on the smiley face. Bridget said Josh can't be far off from her age, but she understands most of the references. That's because you're more socially aware than
That's
he
right.
is. I'm kidding. Michelle says she's from PA and has heard a lifetime or a lot of polka music. Josh has heard polka music. He just
Very cool.
wasn't exactly sure what it was, and he'll try to claim it was from his folks. Okay, so here we are reheating. Foster's got it in the glory hole right now, and Josh has got that stringer. Got a couple more stitches to do, or we go to the nose. Okay, so now he's going to put a couple dots on for the nose. Notice Foster has it pointed down until Josh is ready. Then he flips, and then if the glass falls away, it's still at a point that Josh can reach it just fine. A couple of dots for the nose, and there we go. Time to lose the Jim Carrey special glasses. Put on the safety shields. We always have to wear shields in here. Foster has flashed the piece, and what he's going to do is he's going to keep it centered, but he's also going to face the put the face out to the side so that when Josh puts the handle on, the face is visible when you're holding the glass up to drink. So Josh is remelting a little bit of green glass in the furnace over there. He's just not putting it into the furnace. Okay. Foster's got a good flash heat in it. He's just going to keep it ready. Josh puts the optic mold ridges into it, a very quick heat, and Foster puts the face to the side for him. Josh twists it and pulls up, a quick snip, and now the attachment. And there we go with the handle attached. And we've got us a jack-o'-lantern mug. All righty. It's using a carbon bar right now. It's just about a 3/4 inch piece of carbide, and it steals less heat and allows him to shape the piece. He'll do the last couple of touch-ups on it, and then we'll take a good look at the jack-o'-lantern mug after he finishes it up here. Then they'll take it off and Foster will put it away. This piece can be yours. Simply order it. Get in touch with Theta. There we go. How about that? A smiley face with stitches, a handle, and we got a jack-o'-lantern love.
The only thing it needs to be is filled.
Yeah. Fill it with pumpkin spice beer. Ugh.
Yes,
I don't know. I don't know about that. I was making a couple martini glasses the other day, and we were talking about how a pumpkin martini would taste, but I'm not too sure about that. And away it goes, the annealer. Let's hear it for Josh Ries. Way to go. Okay. So, anyhow, that was wonderful. Beautiful job. Foster, thank you so much. So if you folks would like that mug, it's not spoken for. All you got to do is get in touch with us. You can use either artoffire.com. You could go off our website there. You can use Facebook Messenger right now if you want. Tell Theta that you would love to have that mug, and it's yours. Or you can let us know later. Or if you'd like to see one made, maybe with a different color, let's just stop off and see cats. I hear tickets are hard to get. So right here we have an opportunity to see cats. Sleeping cats. Okay. Maybe while we... What's that?
People want to see who you are.
Oh, we did that once before.
Oh, I know, but we're going to go
let's
ahead
turn
and
it
do
around.
it again. Let's turn it around. Hey, all of you folks out there in the audience who have been here. There we go.
We're gonna chase the game.
Yeah. No, we would like to reintroduce Bruce.
Yes.
Yeah, and Todd's cat. So, yeah, Bruce is your narrator extraordinaire. We're real pleased, and
I bet you didn't expect stand-up glass.
and here it is. You got stand-up glass in the first degree. So
Okay.
There you go. Thank you.
All
folks.
right, thank you. Thanks for asking, Joshua. Okay, so let's go back on over here and go through what we've seen, what we're going to see, and what we got left to do. And here we go. So let me get this camera adjusted here a little bit. There we go. Happens every time we go switching hands and stuff. So we've done the witch's hat with a vine for Pamela, and we've done the jack-o'-lantern with a hat for Dale, and that's going to have a spider hung on it, as I remember. We did a glow-in-the-dark ghost for Yvette. We've just completed a jack-o'-lantern mug, and now we're going to have a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. That'll be our next demonstration. I've mentioned several times getting into the drawing for a free piece. Amy Weber Aquino won this beautiful pair of blue stemless wine glasses for last week, and we're showing them today. If you'd like to be in the drawing, and here's the white pumpkin for next week with a gold stem. It's a really beautiful little piece. So your comments will get you entered, okay? You can also use the comments. Lynn says, I have a great voice. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And David said, hide and seek Bruce. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, is hide from it. Okay, so here's what the glow-in-the-dark stuff looks like. This is displayed in a black box with an ultraviolet light. You don't need to do that at home. What you can do is just expose it to direct light for a while, and then turn out the lights or put it on a mantle at night and you'll see it.
Turn it off.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
See green in
So
that?
now you've got some green showing in there. It's a little more effective with the black light on, but we've seen it in the house at the end of the day, and it really is cool. Okay. Scott, bye-bye. Sorry you have to go back to work, but we do appreciate you being here. I'll tell you what, we'll go through the rest of the glass here before we talk about the prices or anything. This is what your glow-in-the-dark material looks like when it's not glowing. So if it's just sitting out in the room gathering light, it basically looks white. We pretty much back it up with a piece of opaque white, and that gives it a real nice look when it's not glowing, and there's what you get when it is glowing. All right, we've even applied the process to our flasks. Here's a glow-in-the-dark jack-o'-lantern flask. I think what we're working toward here is just see how many adjectives we can add to every piece we sell. But there you go with the glow-in-the-dark jack-o'-lantern flask. Here's a regular pumpkin flask right here with the jack-o'-lantern face on it. So the whole jack-o'-lantern thing is basically adding a face. And we got some pretty cool ones. Here's one that's a couple of eyes with a dotted mouth. We've got one here. And oh, that one also does have a hat. Of course, you can see that. Here's one with just a short stem. Here's a little one with the curly cues. If you're familiar with Jack Skeleton, here's Sally's running mate. Okay, we can do that. One of my favorites is this one back here where the eyes are up on the hat and we just have the dots to represent the mouth on the pumpkin. We've got the jack-o'-lantern there with a pumpkin only and one with the hat. We will do just a hat for you. It's really kind of cute. There's a Halloween decoration with a spider attached. Again, a shout out to Jay Santmeyer for making these for us. Here's a pumpkin with hat and a spider attached. Here's the jack-o'-lantern mug you just saw made. Let me get over here for a full view. We also do the polar bear / ghost mugs. You'll have to watch a couple episodes where we kept discussing polar bears, but they really are sold as ghost mugs. We can also do goblets in our pumpkin pattern, and we can do it with a short stem too if you don't particularly want the long stem. But the long stem is really fetching. Here are the pumpkin pieces that you saw a couple weeks ago. Our standard mugs with the orange and white color. The white comes with the gold handle. And then our pumpkins are typically done in either orange or white. We'll be glad to do any custom color you want. The Mongo there is about 1 foot in diameter. We've got the large to either size, white and orange. Then we've got a medium white here, and we've got the small white and orange over here. So that's what we've got on display right now, but that's not near all that we make. So I think that probably the best bet for you is to go to our website and check through the catalog to see everything we have. Here's a rundown on the prices. I'll try to get through this real quick. We got the glow-in-the-dark feature, adds $4 to anything. It's going to have to be looking white, backed up with white when we make it, and you have it on display, but it'll glow green when you put it in the dark. Flasks, these flasks with jack-o'-lantern are $55. And then we've got the pumpkin sizes, Mongo large, medium, and small. The jack-o'-lantern difference just means adding the face to it. If we do a jack-o'-lantern with a hat, we do one size of jack-o'-lantern. It's basically a little smaller than the large, but much bigger than the medium. And it'll have a hat on it. How about that? A hat alone is $65. We'll put a spider on the hat for you for $25, but I'm afraid we won't be selling spiders individually. The pumpkin goblets, $165 a pair, and the ghost or pumpkin mugs at $65. So there you have the price list on what we have and what's been going on. And as I make my way back to where Josh is going to make the jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, I would like to mention we appreciate it very much if you will share what you've seen. When you share and it goes to your friends, that expands our circle. The more viewership we get, the higher we rise with the Facebook algorithms and the more notice we get. We'd love to spread the joy and get more folks involved with that. So we would really appreciate it if you would share these videos, share the notifications you get with us, because that's not only going to alert your friends to something that I think is kind of fun to see, but it's going to help us out an awful lot. So Josh is going to make a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. Is this one white?
Yes.
This is going to be a white jack-o'-lantern pumpkin.
Yeah, it's going to be that kind of in between the large and medium.
Okay. But no hat on it.
No hat.
Okay, no hat. Dale Kohler says he has pieces from Foster from the 90s when you were doing the Texas show.
Yeah, except we started Texas in 1984.
Yeah.
So, what happened, Dale?
Well,
No, seriously.
he's probably about Josh's age, and he hadn't been walking long. Okay, so he had to wait another
Since
10
I just
years.
turned 21, I actually wasn't born yet then.
Yeah, Josh is 21 for the 18th time. Can a spider be added to one of the already finished jack-o'-lanterns on the table? Yes, it can, because we add those on cold. We never add those hot. We just have to have a place to kind of locate it and tie it on. Actually, you've seen him marver glass several times before. I'm just going to take a quick trip back to the table and show you how it's attached, Brittany. So you can see that it's basically tied on the end of that, all right? So it wouldn't, it would go on a finished jack-o'-lantern that has a hat. If there's a way to tie it on to a regular jack-o'-lantern, perhaps on the stem, we could arrange that. It just depends on the availability of hanging space, and that's what we need. James Conover, thank you. He says, amazing creativity for today's items. Keep up the great work. We're going to try. All right. Oh, this is going to be a glow in the dark. All right. He's going into special glow in the dark material.
Do the wrap around. Yeah. Hey, James.
So, a couple more times through the glow in the dark.
Just one more.
One more.
Yep, 3 times total.
Okie doke.
Ask James how. James, how is your PT going on your shoulder? Hope it's going well.
We got a thumbs up.
Excellent.
Okay, very good. Please, folks, use the comments section to talk to us, interact with us. Sometimes it's a little difficult for me to follow all the comments while I'm trying to film them and talk, but Theta is doing an amazing job of keeping up with answering you folks when I miss them. Okay, so use the comments section for that. You could actually let Theta know that you want to order something. We won't be placing the order in the comments section, but you can certainly tell her what you want. Use the likes. That's what's gonna, the more you like us, the more you get a chance to spread the word, and the comments section is what gets you entered in the drawing. And please share. Sharing helps us out because it expands the circle of people that know about us. And especially if you're enjoying this nonsense, then let your friends know, because we'd like to have them join us. Okay, so I like to, while we're waiting on the glass to cool, which is very much akin to watching paint dry, we'll mention that this weekend is the Countryside Artisans Tour. We'll be here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 to 5, and we'll have social distancing, plenty of spacing, requiring masks. We've got sanitizers around. We're going to put some tents out in the open area so some of the glass can be displayed out there, and we'll have some demonstrations going on with full blow.
And you can place your order here today or tomorrow so that you can pick your piece up over the weekend during the Countryside Artisans Tour. We'd love to see you. We'd love to have your business as well.
Great. And Suzanne said something about the glass blowing shop on the boardwalk in Ocean City. Most of the folks that do the boardwalk work, or they used to go in malls and whatnot around the holiday period, they're doing what's called flame working or lamp working. And I would say when I was watching it years ago, 90% of their pieces wound up being displayed on a mirror so that you could really get an appreciation of it. But that's a different type of glass blowing. Those spiders, I hate to admit it, but Josh is probably the only one in here that's got the eyesight and the hand coordination to make those little bitty spiders. It takes really good eyes to do that little bitty stuff. David Hogan is dreaming of a white pumpkin, just like the ones you used to know. Yeah, don't get me started on old songs.
Dancer and Prancer.
Okay, into the optic mold for the ridges in the pumpkin. Can I purchase the jar? Can I purchase the one that is on display? Yes, Brittany, you can purchase the one on display. Theta will answer you in just a moment, or try and get in touch with her. We wouldn't want to exchange credit card information or anything like that on this open comment section, but she can direct you either to our website or a secure way in which you can do it, or a phone call to the studio phone, which is also listed on the webpage, artoffire.com. And I got to agree with you, the jack-o'-lantern with a hat on display with the spider does have a really cool facial expression. All right, so we're getting a jack line created. The jack-o'-lantern gets a jack line. How poetic. All right, that's for separation for the blowpipe. The newspaper Josh has actually serves to cool the glass. Okay, and he'll heat that up a little bit more. Sometimes when they get a little larger, we got to open a door and get in there. A little more inflation. He's going to blow it up just a little bit better. Let's see the jack planters again. Are we talking about the flasks, Mary Beth? Okay, Josh is going to get that cut down to where he wants on the neck. He's got the size and shape going. Foster's going to deliver him the little bit of glass that we call a cheater, and that's simply going to serve as an insurance policy on the bottom of the glass. Sometimes if the bottom of a piece of glass gets just a little bit thin, then it can break when we take it off the putty. So this is like just a little spacer to go between the glass of the pumpkin and the glass on the putty. And you'll never see it. Not when the piece is done. All right, they put the glass onto there, he winds it on, and now he uses the back of his jacks to press it into shape, kind of conical. And you'll see that when he presses the bottom flat for the piece to sit on the table, that you can no longer see that little extra bit of glass. Mary Beth says we love insurance policy. Yeah, it's always a good thing. Is it possible to have an opening in the bottom of a pumpkin for an LED tea light? Conceivably, we'd have to really work that out. There'd also be an issue of generating heat inside the glass. Just like I mentioned earlier, if you buy any of our drinkware, or even if you have a bowl or a vase you choose to wash, we want you to hand wash it in warm water. These things won't stand up to the heat of a dishwasher always, and you should never pour hot liquids into our glasses. So we don't really have anything that can serve, say, as a holder for a votive, but, and I'm a little afraid that a LED light inside might generate just enough heat to crack the glass. If you're really interested in that, you can call us, talk to us offline, and we'll get more details.
No, the LED works fine.
Oh, she said, okay, said it doesn't give heat.
The LED works well.
So then it would just be a matter of being able to form the vessel with a hole in the bottom and having the top done. And we could work with you individually on that. That would actually take a lot more work. So you see, Josh, with the tweezers on the bottom of the piece there? That's because it wasn't quite centered, which means it wasn't evenly distributed around the axis of the blowpipe. In other words, it was hung off to one side just a little bit. So by putting the tweezers underneath the pumpkin and pushing up with it, it gets it absolutely aligned perfectly. Craig Ellison says cheaters are better than floor models. He's left a few pieces on the floor due to a thin bottom. And that's the way we feel about it too. Okay, so there we go. Josh is heating up the top of that. He's going to blow it out a little bit, get things ready, and then he's going to go for his jack-o'-lantern face. And if you're interested in this piece, just as I think it might have been Yvette, I'm not sure, somebody a few moments ago said they wanted to buy one of the pieces that's on display right now. If you'd like to buy one of those, or you'd like to buy something that you're watching being made today, just let us know. So here we've got the shape of the pumpkin, and again, this one is going to be glow in the dark. It's got a white base coat on it, a base bit on it, and then coated in the glow in the dark material. Foster gets the bit ready, and Josh will place it and cut it. Now watch how he draws up to thin it out a little bit, and then a clip, using the back of the jacks to flatten it some. And there's enough heat in it that he can actually manipulate the edges while it's still just being placed like that. You can also see, would you mind taking it out for a moment, Josh, and show us how it turned off center? See how the piece kind of hangs down to one side? That was because the punty was hot, the glass was hot, and it sagged over to one side. Well, all we have to do is put a little more heat on it and make it sag back to the center, if you will. And now he's got it perfectly centered. As soon as Foster goes to reheat, I'm going to step over so you can get a little better view of the process. So Josh continually turns the piece now, and you can notice that the bottom of the piece is perpendicular to the pipe. It'll fall off a little bit while he pauses, places it down, and cuts it off. But now look at the angle of the piece to the pipe. And with a little more heat, he's going to correct that immediately. So it's a real simple step, but very important. Really important when we're making things like tall vases, drinking glasses, stuff like that, even bowls, because we don't want the top line and the bottom line to not be parallel. That'd be like having a sloped top to a drinking glass. It doesn't work out so hot. Notice how he's using the tweezers a little bit just to get that symmetry back where he wants. He's got enough heat left over, he can manipulate the eyes. And now here we go with the Jim Carrey glasses. Josh is so cool. I was going to say something about him and Foster trading places, but that's yet another movie. Okay, he starts heating up the stringer. The stringer is just a really thin line of the black glass that Josh pulled out a couple days ago. Now watch. Foster holds the face down until Josh asks him to flip. Here we go with the lines for the mouth. And as we said before, heating the glass, the black glass, a little higher up so that it flows onto the pumpkin. It gives him a nice, perfect shape. Then when he gets to the end, it just burns off. Foster goes for another reheat. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that, Yvette. I got confused about who ordered what, but I know somebody ordered one. Anyway, if you would like to order this jack-o'-lantern pumpkin here, just let us know. There are many more on display. You could have anything we made today, anything that's on display. I'm not going to go as far as saying anything your heart desires, but anything in our catalog, you're more than welcome to order. If you want a custom order, we'll do that too. You can also coordinate with us in advance to have your piece made on a live stream demonstration so you can see it done. He's doing the cross stitching for the mouth right now. I don't know where he picked up his sewing skills, but he's going to lay those on there. There we go. And if one doesn't quite do exactly like he wants, he can put a little supplemental glass on it. Such tiny work, very impressive. Yes, it is. Takes a lot of control and experience to get these things done. Payday is the 15th. Pumpkins for Lindsay. Okay, great. Alrighty. So that's got the cross stitch done. A couple of nose pieces there down, Josh?
Do the nose.
Yep. Okay, so we'll get the nose on it. Then we'll come on around here. Foster turns the face down so it falls away. Josh will ask for the flip or signaling. And then just a couple of dots. And we've got a nose. Okie doke. All right. But what's a pumpkin without a stem? It's not a pumpkin. Well, I guess it still is. Okay. Dale Kohler enjoys watching. Well, we're enjoying presenting it. So tell your friends, share, spread the circle. Get us a little more viewership. Remember to like and comment. The comments will get you entered in a free drawing. You can use the comments to communicate with Theta when you want to order something. In the meantime, you'd probably want to place the order either on the Facebook page or on the website. You could also call the studio. Studio phone number is listed at artoffire.com. So he's getting it shaped up just a little bit, and then Foster is going to use the last iron and the iron warmer to do the stem. So there we've got our glow-in-the-dark jack-o'-lantern. He's got a kind of interesting facial expression too. Yeah, very cool. All right. You want the big 12-point larger?
Yeah.
We're getting the mold is placed there for Foster to drop it in. He's going to melt that color in, and then they'll place it. Once Foster's gathered up the glass, he'll heat it.
Yeah, it's kind of a sideways smile on them. I like that.
Yeah. So it is possible for both of them to share the space there, even though the pumpkin is fairly large. Josh pulls back out of the way while Foster goes into the optic mold, puts ridges in the stem. He'll take a very quick reheat and deliver it back to Josh. Now Josh is going to let the stem sag to the floor and then say flip. So now, why does Josh let it sag to the floor and say flip? Well, it's because when he places that stem, he wants it to be falling down so that it just hits about the line parallel to the pipe the moment he touches up. So it's like he's waiting on it to fall to just the right spot. He's going to pull and twist the stem and then wrap it around the iron that Foster's holding. Pulls it out with a really beautiful twist, holds on to it, and now, if it was a movie, we could say that's a wrap. There we go, on around. Foster removes it, Josh curls up the stem a little bit, and then he can use his tweezers to do any final adjustment. He'll take another flash, maybe a little bit of heat to adjust things. We've got a really pretty looking jack-o'-lantern here. We've debated for a little while about these curly cues on the top. Appreciate hearing what you guys think. First couple we did, it looked like a single Shirley Temple curl, which was really kind of lame. But now they're looking pretty good. So just a little bit of change in orientation. It really looks great. And before they take it off, he'll hold it up so you get a good view. And he'll take the last flash. There we go. Now that does not look like a Shirley Temple curl. But if we wanted Shirley Temple curls, I'm sure we could figure out how to put a dozen on there. Okay. Now all we have to do is a drop of water at the joint between the punty and that cheater, a tap, and off it comes. Way to go, guys. Bridget loves the curly stems. Well, we're getting to where we like them too. We do enjoy them. Okay, let's hear it for Josh. Way to go, Josh.
Thank you,
and Foster, way to go, man. It really takes a lot of teamwork to do this. It's a very difficult thing to do alone. It can be done, but it's kind of tricky. So,
It's not as much fun.
let's go on down, take a look at the whiteboard, cover what we've done, and we are done, but don't go away yet. There might be some more corny jokes to tell. Now, okay, here's what we've seen today. We've seen the witch's hat with a vine for Pamela, a jack-o'-lantern with a hat for Dale, a glow-in-the-dark ghost for Yvette. We've done a jack-o'-lantern mug and a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. Okay, make sure that you comment before we go to turn this thing off, and you could win this white pumpkin for next week. Last week's winner was Amy Weber Aquino. She got the pair of blue stemless wine glasses. Much of what you've seen today was glow-in-the-dark stuff. We did a glow-in-the-dark ghost for you. There's a jack-o'-lantern and a mug in there with a jack-o'-lantern face. Here's what the glow-in-the-dark looks like when it's not glowing. We even do it with flasks. And here's a pumpkin-colored flask with a jack-o'-lantern face. And then a whole variety of jack-o'-lantern stuff here. We've got jack-o'-lanterns with hat, and we've got them with short stems and curly stems. We've got them on orange mugs. We've got hats with spiders. We've got jack-o'-lanterns with hats. We could have jack-o'-lanterns with hats and spiders. This is beginning to sound like a Dr. Seuss book. We can actually put the eyes up on the hat, which I think is amazing. And there we go with that. We can do pumpkin goblets. We can do a long stem. We can do a short stem. We could do no stem, but you probably wouldn't get much green on it. And here's our standard pumpkin ware. Usually comes in orange or white, but we'll be glad to do anything you want to order. The Mongo's in the middle. That sits at about 1 foot in diameter. The larges on either side, medium and smalls there. So I'll give you a quick review of the prices, but not just sit here talking about it. You can add glow in the dark. You can have a flask. You can get our pumpkins in their regular sizes. Get a jack-o'-lantern face for another 20 bucks. You can have a jack-o'-lantern with a hat. You can have the hat alone. You can get a spider on a hat or any other part of the pumpkin it will stick on, but we will not be selling the pumpkins individually. There's the price on the goblet and the price of the mugs. So, next week, yes, Father?
Amy just bought that last mug that we just made.
The mug?
That
Okay.
Josh just made.
Yeah, okay. So anything you see is up for sale. And if something you see or is on the display that you would really like and somebody beats you to it, just let us know. Don't worry, because we can always make another one or 2 or 20. And again, please share the videos. Let your friends know. With 2,500 friends or followers, we got a pretty good crowd, but we know that you guys could expand our reach, and we would appreciate that little bit of help. Okay, so there we are. We'll be back with something for you next week. Thank you, Foster.
Thank you for being with us, everybody.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, folks.
Okay, and I'm Bruce, and this is it, signing off. Have a great day. And join us this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 10 to 5, for the Countryside Artisans Tour. Go to our website, artoffire.com. Go to our Facebook page. You can go to thecountrysideartisans.com and find out all the information about the other artists that are participating. We'll be here 10 to 5 and keeping you safe.
And looking forward to seeing you.
All righty. Bye-bye.